My name is Justin Brown. I am the founder and lead investigator of Interface Death. A paranormal research group based out of Hillsboro, Ohio. We specialize in EVP and ITC research. We investigate claims of the supernatural, hauntings, urban legends, demonic activity. We delve in all aspects of the paranormal. What happens when we die? Can I speak to the loved ones that have long since passed? Or the legends in my community, based off true or tales? We chase the shadows into the night and penetrate the darkest mysteries known to man. We strive to prove that death is not the end.
Hi, my name is Justin Brown with Interface Death, and in this video I'm going to let you guys know how we set up our EVP sessions. Generally, when we have a convenient place where we can set down all the equipment that we have to do EVP work, this is the setup we use. I want to explain each piece and why it's there and what we use it for and what we're, trying to shoot for when we capture EVP, so you pretty much understand at basic levels. The first thing I want to point out here is we're using a laptop with a mixed pad software that pretty much lets us record when we hit record on it, and it lets us see the WAV files as it's recording live. That way we can see any anomalous wave or audio occurring visually at the time in real time. Also, we use this as our burst session. We only record maybe 1 to 3 minutes at a time, do burst sessions to try to get what data we can in live review at the time, so we can use that information to further the communication or further the EVP research that we're doing. Okay, quickly, I have EMF meter sitting here, a meter. The reason for that is you want to see if there's any spikes or anomalous EMF readings at the time you capture EVP. This may be significant in the research. There may be something going on there that you would want to capture. Definitely recommend that. It also has temperature readout, so if you have any fluctuation or anomalous event there, that might be significant. As you can see, I'm wearing a headset mic. Pretty much the reason for this setup on this left recorder is anything that's coming out of my mouth, I want to be able to hear it loudly. So all this audio gets mixed together. The audio from the laptop, the audio from my headset mic. Now, not only can I hear my voice loudly if I make, a subtle breath, inhale, any noise with my mouth, I'm going to be able to pick that up. And also I'm going to be able to hear everything coming in on an input. So if there's an EVP disembodied voice coming through on the input, I'll be able to hear it in real time and respond to it. Now, the last recorder over here, this plays the whole time. And pretty much we have that as our baseline audio. We can cross-reference it at any point in time. If we get an EVP on just one device versus all three, that might say, it was actually an electronic voice phenomenon. If we get it, just on all the mics at once, that may say something. That may say something about it being an environmental event, so disembodied voices that can be heard with the ear, is something different, I think, from electronic voice phenomenon, and I want to make a distinction. Any of those two can occur. It's either some type of manipulation with the device electronically, or it's an actual event happening in the environment that we're capturing on the electronic voices through the devices. Now, generally what we do is we'll sit down, record burst sessions, Do that 2 to 3 times, see if we get any results. If we do get results, what we do find at the time will dictate how we engage in the EVP work further as we do it. Pretty much we record all the data during the time, the temp, the EMF readings. We do a baseline, and then we do the recordings of the event, as it transpires. Now you can do certain things with the millimeter. You can record spikes, the min and max values during the time, so that might be worth it in your research to log all those things down. Definitely try to do everything you can to keep your lab environment quiet as possible. The least amount of investigators is better when you're doing this research. And pretty much want to use critical thinking. Now, if you're reviewing EVPs and they're not very loud and you're having to amplify them a lot, slowing them down, reversing them, all that stuff is going to take away from the credibility of the EVP. So what you want to go for is intelligent responses or loud responses, captured voices. It doesn't have to be a response to be considered an EVP, but that you want to be pretty confident in what you capture and what you want to call potentially paranormal evidence. This is not physical evidence, but is supporting evidence. EVP is, by far no way proving the existence of anything paranormal, but it can support paranormal activity if done correctly. If there's any questions about how we do this type of setup, just leave us a comment, get a hold of us on Facebook, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. The only other different way to set this up is to remove the human element out of it totally. You set up on your laptop pre-recorded questions, and then you play them, and record the playback out of one of these mics. It doesn't matter. The other 2 secondary mics, one's recording the whole time, one's playing, and the other one you can have recording as well, just for another audio source to cross-reference. That has its, pros and cons. If something does come across on a pre-recorded EVP session, you can't react to it live. It just pretty much plays the questions, and if there's something present that can respond to them, it just responds to it how it wishes. Like I said, pros and cons there. So please try to play around with those 2 configurations, because I believe that spirits may have an easier time hearing something on playback versus someone's actual voice. There's evidence that I've gathered and many other people's gathered that suggests that that's true. There's not one way that's correct. There's no cookie cutter way of doing this type of work. You have to try new things, apply the scientific method properly. You want to be able to replicate what you're doing in order to prove that it's actually happening in a scientific way. If you cannot replicate it, it's really hard to label it as evidence, label it as at least supporting evidence. So with that being said, I'm going to close up this video. Any basic laptop will work. It doesn't have to be any specific laptop. Your recorders, the only thing I would suggest is something with decent playback quality, like 192 kilobytes a second, something like that at least. PC link, you want to be able to download it to a computer for analyzation. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you got any questions, feedback, please let me know. Thank you. Have a good day.